5:34 right now. The shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk has led to some important conversations about whether to increase security at large public events.
Your reporter Roger Suzanne in live now at the state capitol in Hartford. Roger, police are already planning to post some extra patrols, right?
Yeah, good morning. And that's an even more amazing fact here at the state capitol. You consider that we are not even in a legislative session right now, but still, Capitol Police say they want to boost their efforts to protect lawmakers and the public. And listen, we do want to stress that the Capitol is a very safe building to begin with. You have to walk through metal detectors and pass through a security screening to get in. But Capitol Police Chief Luis Casanova says his team will be even more proactive here and at off-site events involving state lawmakers. And retired Secret Service agent Bobby McDonald tells us he believes Kirk's shocking assassination will also change the way universities host large events. He believes leaders of some schools and venues will beef up security, and others may actually choose not to host public speeches and other events out of an abundance of caution. And one thing we do want to emphasize this morning is that there are no credible threats that we know about against any venues here in Connecticut. Also, security experts do tell us they don't know if these extra measures and steps will be permanently needed. However, of course, we're in very challenging times right now. Reporting live in Hartford outside the state capitol, I'm your reporter Roger Suzanne in Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Roger, thank you. This morning.